So this is one that I came up on my own. And this is strictly there's no information on this. This is one of those things where I was thinking about like how can we control the transfer portal? Before it was if you transfer, you had to sit out a year. The Kelly Bryant situation when he moved on to Missouri. You know what I'm saying? And just like other, but I don't mind the transfer portal, but I wish there was a lot more control. So I was thinking about how could we control this? And what really bothers me is when freshmen transfer. That really, I try to think about what really irks me about this whole thing, and that's the one thing that irks
I gotta
me.
agree with that.
You know what irks me?
What?
When transfers transfer. That's what irks me.
Mm-hmm.
When you transfer twice in the same year, the freshman thing and then the transfer thing. If you transfer to a school and then transfer after the spring, like, because Storm Duck did it. He went to Penn State from UNC, and then I forget where he went to after that, but he did it in a span of like 2 or 3 months.
Yeah. Oh, he went to Texas A&M, right?
What's it?
That might have been. Yeah,
I think it was Texas A&M.
But yeah.
So we'll start with you. Should freshmen be blocked from the transfer portal? Meaning that they have to, if they go to a school, they got to stay committed to that school for that year.
It was Louisville, by the way.
Louisville, yep.
I can agree with that because especially when you've got these high recruits.
What's up, Burn?
Like 2024. And even 2020, like you've got these recruits looking from the future. And again, you're freshmen, you've got all the time to transfer. And I know some people are going to be like, oh, well, they got me and then they got another guy at the same position. So then compete for it. I mean, everything, to quote Dion, I mean, everything's kind of a competition at that point. I can definitely see the frustration with the freshmen transferring because it's like you had all these offers and decided to go with this school. This is where you said you wanted to go because I mean we even had what's the guy Chris Steele. I think he did the same. He did both the freshman transferring and he transferred twice in 1 year. Originally committed to Florida, then went to transfer to Oregon, and then transferred somewhere else. And he's like hasn't even been mentioned at all. So yeah, no, I can agree with the freshman being blocked, and also you get one transfer per year.
Yeah, that's ridiculous too. I mean, the whole thing about it is that I can just imagine that it throws off the whole chemistry of the team when you got a whole bunch of freshmen that were so happy and they committed. You when you commit, you need to fully commit, like not just I'm a commit. Oh, I don't really like the way this program is ran. It's kind of like this: starting a new job, but only staying there for 2 weeks, and you're like, man, I hate this place already. But you really haven't given the job a chance. All of us have been there. When I was at this job, I was recently there. I was recently in that situation. Man, this might be too hard. Man, this is a mess. Until you really just give it a chance and vet your frustrations and just try to learn. Especially these guys are 17, 18, 17 years old now because people are early enrolling. 17, what is a 17-year-old? We didn't even know what we wanted to do when we were 17-year-olds. Like, stay a year, stay committed. It should be one of those life lesson things. Like, morally, you just need to stick with it for a year instead of saying you don't like something and then just moving on to something different. Because, like you said, Fishing, like Storm Duck transferring multiple times is not teaching them anything. That it's just okay just to give up. Just to give up and move on to something different. That's why these dudes have relationship problems and everything. It's not move on to the next girl. You know what I'm saying? Like it should be a life lesson for every freshman that you can't transfer until you're 19 years old or something like that. If you decide to. But
and it's also like you've got all these people, even with the coaches and even the players that helped recruit. You've got events like Florida's Friday Night Lights. You and other freshmen are linking up, getting ready to go, and then all of a sudden you're like, nope, I'm out. And then you look about what it does later in life. These are kind of the equivalent of throwing a temper tantrum. Oh, I don't like this school. I'm gonna go to this school so I can get what I want. That ain't gonna fly in the pros if you make it there, brother.
Yeah. Hey, Fisher, we're gonna move on to you, but I'm gonna read this comment from Damien. My thing is, you don't want to go to college. Why the hell you committed to the school in the first place? You're wasting your time and money. They ain't wasting their money; it's the school's money, and you're also messing up someone else's opportunity to go to that school. Well, that's the thing right there. That's a great point. You're messing up somebody else's opportunity that could have committed there, but found out that, you know, dude from across the street committed there that plays the same position as you. Now you went to the rival school knowing that you wanted to play against this dude, and then he just took up your roster spot of the school you really wanted to go to. There's a lot of schematics and everything on the back end too. But that's a great point. But Fisher, what you think, man? Mm-hmm. Should they be blocked?
So I'm gonna go kind of the realistic route. I don't think a freshman should be blocked, and the only reason and the argument that I'll give, and it makes sense to me. If a coach can get up and leave from a team at any point during the season for better money or for anything like that, a player should be too. But I think you should get one transfer, and this is how it was before. You could get one transfer, and then if you do a second one, you have to sit a year. I think you should be able to get one transfer. I would actually go ahead and agree with you guys. Not as a freshman, you're not able to transfer, and then you get one transfer, and if you want to transfer again, you just have to waste a year of eligibility and sit.
Mm-hmm.
And that way, it makes kids learn this type of stuff, because not only that, just teaching kids things like that, like we're talking about, it makes it so hard for coaches. I mean, it's probably the hardest time in college football ever to just establish a solid roster and make sure all pieces of the puzzle are put together, just to have a solid team. Just because of, as soon as that portal window hits, you got to sit there and all hell breaks loose. You got to know who's leaving, where, what. I mean, like, you have to have all this figured out and know who's leaving at what position, and then be able to fix it within another window in the next spring transfer portal, or as soon as one leaves, try to go find one right away, and then you got to compete with NIL, and it just becomes an absolute mess for a coach.
Yeah.
So, you know, for a coach's sake at least, but not only that, but just to teach the players something. And not only that, it makes committing to a school in the recruitment process that much more important. I mean, like Damien said in the comments, the kids wasting their money, it's the exact opposite. The schools and the coaches waste more money trying to recruit these kids than I could count. Just trying to get them to come. And then for you to just sit up there and leave, the amount of money that they throw away for these events that they hold for these kids, it's just insane.
Flying their families and everything. Like that's a lot of money, putting them in. You want to make sure they're not in like a hotel that's like in the hood. Like they're gonna put you in a good hotel, make sure that you're accommodated.
Especially when because you've got even guys that some of the smaller recruits or even big recruits try to plan with other big recruits like DJ Lagway. He's making a visit. You got guys being like, all right, I'm come visit when DJ Lagway's there. Go ahead, get that connection, try to recruit, blah, 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 blah. And again, it messes up so much more than anything.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, this stuff is all over the place, man, for sure. I mean, I think there should just be rules. Like, you can't transfer until you're 19. You should make it difficult for you should make it difficult, but then also an easy decision for a kid if he's really committed. Because I think it's kind of like being an Indian giver. You know what I'm saying? Like, oh, Fishing, I'll give you this hat. But nah, man, I really want that hat back. I'm sorry. Like, I didn't mean to give it to you. It should be like that with the transfer portal, too. It should be like, you have to transfer before like week 8 or something like that to determine if you want to be part of this team or not. By week 8, if you haven't made a decision, you got to stay. Because a lot of kids
it starts after week 8.
Yeah. Yeah, don't stay until after week 8 when people start getting bowl eligible and stuff like that. Nah, don't be making your decision now, homie. Make it before. Make it when the going gets tough. Do you really want to be part of this team or not? You start making like little rules like that, and then you start putting make it as easy as it is to transfer right now. But I'm just saying, like, once you have these rules in place for these kids, then it makes it more like a chess match. Like, if you transfer out, you can't transfer in the conference. That's one thing. Bam. So you got to go somewhere else. You can't stay in the ACC. But then when you do transfer, you got to make sure you transfer before week 8. So you're not giving your team, strategically your team can start recruiting for you and not against you. You know what I'm saying? By that time, recruiting is starting to start for the next year, like rapid fire. So get you out of here so we know who we got to replace.
Mm-hmm.
That's the other thing. So you give your school an advantage. And then after that, strip their scholarship away again and make them have to earn it again. The NCAA, I mean, I'm all about like, hey, if you don't feel you don't feel the culture and everything is up to snuff, then you're not fitting in. Be sure you want to transfer out, whatever. Go ahead, transfer out. But you got to know that there's consequences on you saying that you're fully committed to a school and then you just bouncing out too, because that's a scholarship that your school gave you, and they gave it to you, not somebody else. Like, it should be stuff like that in place where it's like, man, I might not even want to touch the portal, like I might just want to stick it out, because that sucks, man. That sucks. That's like somebody joining ECG and being like, oh yeah, I love it, man. Get a paycheck on the side. Oh yeah, we get a little stipend, and then they'd be like, oh hell no, I'm out. And we got them doing a video a week or something for us. It's like, nah, bro, don't work like that. It's stupid. But this is one thing that I was thinking about, man. Like, I like it because it gives us a lot of stuff to talk about. It gives us a lot of things to be excited for our team. But I also feel bad, not the fact that the schools care anything about us, but I feel bad for the fans that really ride and die for their team. And then that one dude that they got really excited about ends up bouncing out to a rival school. And then now it's like, you hate a 17, 18-year-old. That's crazy to me. I hate you, man. I wish you would die. You know what I'm saying?
Oh, they do that too. Yeah.
Fan
base is terrible.
100%.
Yeah, bro. I'd be getting
You got
death
people
threats
like
and stuff.
tweeting at them, DMing them, all that stuff. It's like, this is why they don't want to go to so and so school.
And then you just make their decision easier when that happens too.
Mm-hmm.
Not that we've ever dealt with that, fishing.
Yeah, no, we don't have those problems.
Yes.
We've never had those problems.
It's crazy.
The Florida Gators have such a great social media fan base.
Mm-hmm.